Hello, Instagram. I'm out here in Australia on this gorgeous Sunday, Saturday. I don't even know what we are. It's sometime in the future from what I used to be. um, so I just thought I'd do a wee craft and coffee show, which I haven't done for about a year. Um, it has been a very busy year for me, and given that most of us are probably going to spend a lot of time at home in the coming weeks or so, I thought it might be nice to do something fun, um, like drawing. So, hey, folks. Um, so this Friday I took a break from going to fighting practice, and hey, JC, nice to see you. Um, I took a break from fighting practice, and I decided to stay home, and I was drawing this, which is it's an Icelandic cross. It's a replica from a museum. Hey, Jess, welcome. Um, it's an Icelandic cross that was found. It's probably from about the 9th or 8th centuries, and it's a transitional. It's a transitional religious artifact because it's hung in the style of Mjolnir, but it's a Christian cross, and the head of the head of the animal is a wolf. So it's kind of blending a few different things together. And I had a wonderful time drawing this the other night. Um, Rather than going out and fighting, stayed home and wrapped myself in blankets. So today, I thought, why the heck not? Do another one. Goodness, I got quite a few folks joined. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. So today, what I will be doing is drinking coffee and drawing this lovely thing, which I borrowed from my friend Mads Colvin, who is a medieval costume designer, amongst other things, and has all these really amazing, beautiful things around the place, such as this, which are they're Viking spoons. Super cool. So my intention is to talk to you all, have a crafting show, and draw some spoons for the next little while. I'm also plugged into a battery, so if my show drops at any time, hopefully it's gonna last for the show, but it also might not, because the battery might not work. I can do words. Alrighty. How's things? Where are you all tuning in from? I recognize some of you, but not everyone. There's a few new folks, new names. Let me know where you're tuning from. What's the time there? Here it's 11 a.m., I think. And I don't remember what day it is, I'm sorry. It would be probably Sunday in Australia. Brazil, hola. Liverpool, my goodness. No coffee for you, unless you're getting up very soon. So, I have a general rule about liquids because I'm very, very good at spilling liquids. I don't know how I do it. I just have like this superpower when it comes to knocking liquids over. So I have to have all of my drinks at a lower level to anything precious because I will inevitably spill them. Like Gravity and I, we're good buddies. We go a long way back. Kansas, nice. Oh, that's right. You moved to Kansas. 9 p.m. Yeah. Okay. So we've got folks all over the world. This is exciting. How's the mood? How's the mood where people are tuning in from? I went to Costco yesterday with my friends because we were anticipating a potential panic buy of everybody else, and I was very pleased. I was very impressed to see how well behaved everyone was. Like, it felt a little bit tense, a little bit like the holiday weekend, but there was certainly no like wild behavior. But apparently one guy got removed from the store for filming before me because I think they're trying to keep panic down. So that was interesting. Salut, Charlene. So yeah, these are pendant Viking spoons. I didn't actually get much information about them. I just asked my friend. I was like, "Hey, do you have anything small I can draw for the show?" They're really cool. I'm guessing they're made of brass. And yeah, they're kind of interesting looking. I really needed something that's a little less intricate than the one I drew the other day, so that I can talk to you all and at the same time draw. So, let's see if I can frame this. I had wee trouble setting this thing up so that you can see what I'm drawing at the same time. Oh, awesome, Joshua, thank you. Yes, that is a fantastic documentary. I actually watch it myself. The Back to the Source documentary, I actually watched it myself like every 6 months or something, just because there's so many great things there from everyone. The guy who did the documentary, Cedric, like I periodically just send him messages of thanks because he just did this extraordinary job, like getting all these different people from around the world who not all of us had met each other and just like putting us together into this seamless conversation where we all just magically agreed. It was really, really cool. So yeah, I love that documentary. Hey Bear, nice to see you. Yes, this is my first coffee and crafting show of this year. Although it's a wee bit late for coffee where folks are. So what I've just done to start with is to sketch out on my page basically the framing of the you all. Hey Paige, nice to see you. Jess says, schools, gyms, libraries and colleges are all closed. People are okay, they're a bit overwhelmed. Lots of concern about kids who are food insecure. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough on folks who are just kind of hand to mouth at the moment. Especially musicians or like people who make their income from live gigs. Like the fact that all these large events are being shut down, like conventions and stuff where a lot of artists go to kind of make a big sale for the year. It's pretty scary for those people, but I don't know. There's also been some really great stuff with people just rallying around and supporting folks. Yeah. Never too late for coffee in Melbourne. No, I totally agree. Cool. So, just gonna bring that up a wee bit so you can all see what I'm doing. Yeah, hopefully, as my friend Mads was saying yesterday, like hopefully in about a month's time, all of us just kind of look back and go, yeah, we overreacted, and just kind of laugh at ourselves rather than being like, oh gosh, wish we'd all responded sooner. Seems to be the general feeling on things. Although the toilet paper situation is ridiculous. It's like, what are you eating it? Like, spoons, Viking spoons. They're really cool. I am going to draw these large because that way you all can see what I'm doing. It's a glorious day here. There's a bit of a breeze. We just had a big cold front come through, kind of bringing rain and some other lovely things. Where I'm staying is kind of on the edge of a reservoir, a reserve, sorry, not a reservoir. Hey Rebel, thanks for tuning in. So there's all these birds and things around the place, and it's really, really wonderful. There's generally a lot of birds in Australia, everywhere, but here more than usual. There's like 40 or something rainbow lorikeets that live around the corner, and they're amazing. Just gonna read these comments. It is too late for coffee in Jerusalem. Wow, you're tuning in from Jerusalem. How's it there? What's I haven't heard any news from the Middle East for a while. Jolene says, yes, it's sad. I have 2 events cancelled. Damn. Paige says, eating daikon, hoping for the best, but I know organic food doesn't solve everything. Hiding in Paint says, yep, actor here, no gigs cancelled yet, but it's likely to happen soon. Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to be scared at the moment, and I mean, there's good reason. Like, with something as huge as this, regardless of whether or not the actual virus is going to cause as much damage as people say, the fact that it's impacting everything as much as it is the scary part for me. I also don't have any elderly people that I'm living near. Well, that I'm sharing space with, so I don't have to double check, my own health as much as other people. I've got a friend of mine who needs to get his mum into a hospital for something totally unrelated, and it's really scary because his mum's elderly and she needs something that's not even related to illness. And in this time, like, kind of like the kind of questions that go through your mind of whether or not it's the right idea or not. I can't imagine being in that position. So my heart really goes out to everyone. Yeah, Rebel says, hey Paint, do you need any stagehands? Yes, all of you, please network with each other. Use my threads, talk to each other, reach out. It's the best way to meet people. Well, it's not actually the best way. I'm going to say it's a good way to meet people and support each other in creative industries right now. So please, just get all over the comments with networking. Lightbeard says, cloud and foggy, the country is entering a practical shutdown. On the bright side, no fatalities yet. I hope that continues for you. Renee Bear says it feels apocalyptic. How so? In what way? Is it apocalyptic for you, Bear? Is it kind of just the mood in the streets, or the way people are behaving, or just the messages? Jolene asks, where am I now? I'm in Melbourne, Australia. C.R. Armstrong says, the thing that's scaring me is it's impacting a lot of artists like me who are just getting their careers off the ground and don't have a safety net. Yeah. Hiding in Paint, you don't realize that Rebel are trained in stage combat, so you're probably talking their language. Hey, Great Sword Garrett, nice to see you. Yeah, Rebel's downplaying the stage combat experience. So, drawing. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of marking out where I want to ink. I'm going to go for the big silver spoon, because it's pretty. Bear says, very much in the mood in the air. There's ever-present feel of something lurking just around the corner. I wonder if it's just a collective tension. Like everyone's just kind of slightly tense. So a week ago, I was part of an ice bath experience organised by Amanda Palmer, and it was amazing because, well, a lot of reasons, but the biggest one was probably because it stopped us and caused us to breathe. And for the entire week, regardless of all the stressful stuff that's been happening, I've been able to actually like take deep breaths and like really access my diaphragm and it's been so helpful for just kind of de-stressing. And like things are getting hotter and hotter around the world, but I just haven't been stressed because I took the time to actually breathe, like consciously breathe, and then the ice bath, which is a reset on your mind and your kind of your immune system and everything. So yeah, I think it's so easy to get swept up in everything, and I promise you, like I was stressed hell out before I did that. I was exhausted, and so shut down, physically wiped out with everything that I've been up to. Um, and yeah, just taking that conscious moment to just stop and be like, it was really really good for me. And this whole week I've just kind of taken things a lot more peacefully than I think I normally would have. I just wonder how many people need that at the moment, you know. Um, I'm gonna catch up on those comments in a moment. I'll actually do some drawing. I mean, the way that I see it, like, anytime something like this happens, it can go in two directions. It can go in the direction of, oh God, we're so scared, the world is getting worse and worse, what are we going to do? You know, fear. Or it can result in a lot of really good stuff happening, like people reaching out to each other or starting new business ventures because they're stuck at home for a week. It's like, as long as people are still connecting with each other, I think there's always hope, you know? And it's not like the internet's shut down. And I don't want to sound like I'm making light of the danger. There is a definite threat there. Like, for a certain number of people, this is a very, very scary thing in terms of health. But like I was saying, the bigger danger at the moment is the panic and the kind of fear-based responses that everyone's exhibiting. Because fear brings out the worst in people if they don't take the time to master it or they don't know how to master it. I feel like my spoon dimension's slightly off. I wish I could have gotten myself together to do this live stream earlier. There were so many birds. Like, in addition to what's happening right now. The whole point of these coffee and craft live streams was actually just to not have something too formal and just be able to turn on the camera and do something crafty. But because it's been so long, I was kind of taking a long time to get organized this morning. And then I was having trouble with my coffee. So I'm in Melbourne, which is meant to be one of the best places in the world for coffee. And it is one of the best places in the world for coffee, but I don't know any of the brands. And I've also gotten out of the habit of using an espresso machine because in North America, that's... I'm just going to say that coffee there is not as good. So I got used to not as good coffee. But it means that I've been struggling to adapt back because I don't know how to prepare my beans. I don't know how to use the fucking espresso machine, excuse my language. So all my coffee for the last few days, cooking from home, making from home, has been really bad unless someone's made it for me. So I was like, I can't do a coffee and craft show without the coffee. Fortunately, my friend came along and explained how to use the machine to me, so I've got something passable. Still not amazing, but it's not bad. Let's see what you're all saying. Catching up. The mood in the air. Bear went to the US on Thursday, came back today, Saturday, and the border guards were markedly different acting. Rebels says, the poor cashiers at every store I've been in are so done, exhausted and barely hold a smile. Been joking with them and asking how they are, trying to do right. Good on you, Rebel. It's so hard in the service industries as well, because you're expected to just kind of hold up. Garrett says, existentialism has been helpful for you. I'm going to keep reading the comments, but I'm just curious in what way, Garrett. C.R. Armstrong says, Sam, I reckon I would be a mess right now if I hadn't been to that bath. Haven't been able to maintain this level of calm this long for years. I know, right? It's like some, like, massively reset in the body. Like, I'm just so chill. I'm so chill, and it's like I can still feel things, and I'm still, like, able to, like, perceive problems and stuff, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, sure, I'm probably facing greater difficulties finding work and a house and stuff right now, and the jobs the jobs I have lined up might cancel because they're crowd based, but I'm also chill about it. Like, it's like, no, it's gonna be okay. I don't know how, but it'll be okay. Joshua's gotta go. Thank you, mate. Be safe, be well, keep fighting. Yeah, you too. Garrett says, sometimes it brings out the brother and sisterhood of humanity. Armstrong says, the community connection is a literal lifesaver, particularly in the arts. Yeah, I agree. It's, there's something very magical that goes on when people gather for a purpose, like as Amanda was saying. And I think just the energy of focusing that energy on something positive, it's really powerful. It's like the opposite of a mob, almost. It's like honing it for a purpose, even if the connection is through something like this, like online, where people are interacting with each other, still forming those connections, regardless of whether you're physically in the same space. If your intention is parallel, I think there's power to that. There's power and strength to that. Garrett says, good night, Sam and all. Kids getting up to some mayhem. Armstrong says, it's so zen. Here? Yes, this is nice. Lightbeard, thank you for tuning in. I hope Jerusalem stays fatality-free. And we've got some more folks tuned in. Hey, I recognize some of you. Handle people. Yes, these are spoons I'm drawing, Rebel. They're Viking spoons. Well, miniature Viking spoons. Jolene is a cashier at Dessert. Oh, wow. I would have so much trouble being a cashier at Dessert. I'd want to buy everything all the time. Dessert is an art store in Montreal. Like, especially focused on, like, beautiful fine art stuff. Every time I go there, I'm like, nope, maximum price I'm spending today is like $10 or something. It'll buy me like 2 pens or something. My communal home is baking bread together tonight. That's a wonderful idea. Armstrong says, shit keeps happening, and usually it'd take me out for a week. But at the moment, it's like I can swing back so much easier. Yeah. Hey folks, thank you for sharing all this. I really do think that there's a lot of power in just sharing space with people for a good reason. Or even just like something silly like, I'm sitting here and drawing spoons. I'm very poorly drawing spoons. I should probably focus on the drawing of the spoons. There's all these really nice reflections going on. I'm not sure if y'all can see. Hey, Kyle. Please give my love to the folks. Sam says hi from Australia. Armstrong says, "Oh my god, if I worked at an art store, I'd never get paid because I just spend it all on the art supplies." I know, right? Or a fabric store. Um, I have friends who work in fabric stores, and I'm like, oof, that's dangerous. Thrift stores, fabric stores, art supply shops. Kryptonite. So funny. I came back here expecting the apocalypse, right? And I came back here and it's like a haven of green, lush nature, and the apocalypse is everywhere else. I am still. Once I've got a job, I'm going to get involved with conservation work. I've done some research. Um, there's an organisation called Conservation Volunteers Australia, and they're basically spearheading all the voluntary efforts to help with recovery after the bushfires, and have been asked by the federal government to do so, which is problematic. I'm not going to go into the problems associated with that, but yeah, they seem to be a really good organisation. They organise things like weeding or like shoreline restoration or planting seeds of native plants, that kind of thing. Or for people in urban areas who can't get out of town, they do things like habitat building. So like for all the little critters that have lost their homes with the fires, they're building little boxes and places for them to nest, and like for insects and small creatures. Um, yeah, so it's sorry, distracted by the comments. So it's a really good organization, and once I get some kind of income stabilized, I'm really looking forward to spending time with them. The downside is that I'm probably going to have to get a part-time job instead of a full-time job. But I also don't really want a full-time job again because I'm so used to being a freelancer now. I don't know how to do full-time unless it's in film, which is a totally different bag. In film, like you're going like 70, 80 hour weeks, for, I don't know, 4 months at a time, and then you're done and you're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to leave my home for a while. So that's kind of been my life for like the last 10 years, basically. So I don't actually know how to have a full-time job anymore. It's weird to think that I might. So yeah, I think what I'm probably going to do is get a part-time stable income and then spend the rest of my time maintaining my online business and volunteering. That's kind of where I'm at right now with things. Obviously, I'm open to whatever comes up, but yeah, it's been really valuable for me to be able to work from home for the last couple of years, and then taking film jobs. I don't know why I'm sharing this right now, except just the fact that I'm in a new country and a lot of you supported me getting here. So it's definitely on my mind, the fact that I came to help with the bushfires and the conservation effort, and as you can all see, it's pretty okay right now. Yeah, I mean, I probably don't owe an explanation to anyone right now, but I do feel very accountable for my actions, generally. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. For all of you who support me on Patreon, thank you so much. I have a Patreon, and I have some very patient backers on Patreon who've been kind of watching me pack up my life for the last 2 months, and I really would like to get back to making more content and more rewards soon, because I feel like my Patreon's been a bit thin. But yeah, stuff like this, like I just haven't even had the mental energy to sit down and draw or create. It's been all like logistics and a lot. It's been a lot. Yes. Um, Kyle's phone is muted. Charlene says yes. Something about don't spend all my payroll. Yeah. Am I back in Australia permanently? Void of course moon. I think I might have just answered that question for you, mate. I'm here for the foreseeable period of time. I'm not going to go and say permanently because I don't think I can really say anything about anything at the moment. There's so much that I want to do, but there is a lot of work to do here, so I'll be here for the foreseeable future. Armstrong says, "Oh, that is dangerous. Even just walking into a Habrix store is dangerous for me." Void of course moon says, "I'm a hairstylist in Portland. The undercut is killing it." Oh, thank you. I assume that's a compliment. Thank you very much. This is something I wanted to do because I wanted to be able to basically just have 2 different hairstyles without having to drastically change my hair. So this is on the line of a baseball cap. So if I put a baseball cap on, it looks like I have really short hair, but I love my long hair, so I didn't want to get rid of it and just do like a whole like Viking cut. So yeah, I just took it to the point. I don't know anyone who has this exact style. Yeah. Kyle's back and he can hear. Yay! Rob's just joined. Hey, Rob. Jolene asks, does that make a difference for you to have a Patreon profile? So Patreon's a really fantastic thing for artists. It's kind of like Kickstarter, but instead of backing projects, you're backing an artist to continue their work, or bloggers can use it. Like basically, if people like what someone does and they want to see them continue doing it, without having to kind of stop to figure out how to pay the rent or something, people can become Patreon patrons. There is a reward structure, so some Patreon sites will just have like basically like a one price opt in, so they're not beholden to making rewards. Other people will have different tiers, which is it's really good if you're doing visual arts because you can send people things, or if you're making content, you can specially tier it to the different tiers. Yeah, it's a really, really great thing for artists. I think everyone should know about Patreon. It's been going around for a while now. It's an excellent, tried and true kind of business model for creatives. As long as you treat it like it's an actual business. At the moment, I have a lot of patrons spread across different tiers, but not many patrons. So it's kind of a lot of work because when you have fewer people and more to like target with the tiers, it's more work to do that. But when you hit more patrons on different tiers, you can kind of justify that time spent on those. So yeah, my Patreon's pretty new still, and I'm constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough for my patrons. But yeah, just like slowly getting over that. Anyway, my friend Kaya Sadowski has a Patreon that I support her, and I stayed with Kaya for a while, and she was going through exactly the same thing as me, and we kind of had a great little powwow about about producing stuff for patrons, and I was like, look, Kaya, honestly, I don't care what you write or make. Like, I just want to see you continue doing what you're doing. um, and then I realized that, like, I needed to tell myself that as well. So anyway, I think we all get in our own heads a lot when we're doing creative work. Kyle says, how good is the name? I mean, they're literal patrons. Yeah, it's a great name. And also, like, the E for electronic Patreon. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna draw some spoons. That was not a bird. That was a car farting. I'm at this really curious point with my Instagram where it's just gotten a little larger than I'm used to, and there's a lot of people following me now and don't actually know who you all are. Like up until probably a couple months ago, I was able to kind of recognize most of my followers, and then it's just kind of hit this like growth spurt. And I was looking through my followers at breakfast this morning. I'm like, shit, I don't recognize you all. So please do introduce yourselves if you want to. I understand that a lot of people lurk, and I'm okay with that. Like lurking is fine, but yeah, I like knowing who folks are. These live streams are great for that as well, because you can all kind of share things or not. I can talk, sound remotely intelligent. That doesn't look right. Oh, that's too high now. Shit. The pencil patch should have been done like in 10 minutes. Oh well. It's always the same when I do these things. I actually can't multitask, it's a thing. I got very good at drawing in school though, because I wasn't able to like sit still and just listen. Kyle, you helped me like basically overcome that. Thank you, mate. Yeah, that's about right. Ah, bonjour. Oh, bonsoir. I'm off for dinner with the boyfriend's dad. Love from Alaska. Ah, take care, Kyle. Armstrong says, it's so easy to give other people pep talks and forget the same thing applies to you. Yeah. Yeah. All right, 45 minutes later. I've got a very basic spoon. Basic spoon. Hi folks who've just tuned in. I'm doing a coffee and craft, first one of the year in Australia, Melbourne. There is still coffee in there. And yeah, it's just an excuse to have a sit down and catch up with everyone. I used to run these shows all the time. These coffee and crafting shows, loosely based around the theme of making things. They're very casual. They're a really good way for people to talk to each other in the comments too, especially creative people connecting up on through the interwebs. And at a time like now, it's a really good kind of time for people to come together and just reach out in solidarity of everything that's going on, without it being too negative, if possible. So yeah, I think I'll be doing a lot more of these in the coming weeks, hopefully. And I should start inking this in, so we actually have some ink to show for it by the end of this. We have another 15 minutes. Oh, excellent. Nuclear winter. You reckon you could bring me a coffee too, mate? I just ran out. Sadness. Mm. I have a dozen pens, but there's like 3 that I use, and I always bring them all out because I'm like, oh, I might use them, and then I never do. I've all gotten like mixed up. So, what am I going to use? This is probably the part where I need to pay attention to my book more than y'all. Isn't that a great word, y'all? I've totally picked it up. And I'm not letting it go, because it's wonderful. And I've lived in North America long enough to adopt it justifiably. I think the nice thing about me doing this, whilst you all are watching, is it stops me from getting in my head about drawing. I remember the first time I did it a few years back, drawing with people, with an audience, like, I was shaking. I was actually shaking. It was that house that I did for the D&D campaign. I was, what was it? It was like midnight or something, and I ended up drawing for about 3 hours and did it on camera. Yeah. Like, I think at this point I've just accepted that it's not going to be a great drawing. Drawing in buses is another really good way to do that, because you know it's going to be shaky and messed up. I'm also holding my pad at a funny angle because I'm trying to share it what I'm doing. And I'm drawing a lot slower than I normally would. Shit. Stop talking, Sam. Ah, fuck. Yeah, this is a very munted drawing. Oh well. might bring you all a bit closer. Try and share that with you a bit better. It's not very comfortable. Yeah, they're amazing. Armstrong has just made tea and breakfast and sitting outside with my watercolors because you just reminded me that I haven't drawn and painted in ages. I am so glad to hear that. Hey, Pierre! Salut! Salut from Melbourne, Australia. How you doing, mate? Hope things are well over there. Looking for a job. Sorry to hear that, mate. I hope it goes well. Some of us were talking earlier about just the fact that a lot of stuff is shut down at the moment, and people who are musicians or artists of any kind are kind of relying on that for our income. But my hope is that people will find new things, new ways to make an income that they haven't thought of before. Because we're all very resourceful, I think, when we really have to be. And when there's community as well, like, there's definitely been a lot more people reaching out to each other lately, which is a really good kind of byproduct of this. Hiding in Paint says, not quite the same, but I've just finished painting up some lizard men. Cool! Tell us about your lizard men. What are they for? Are they miniatures? Or is it for D&D? Or what kind of lizard men are you painting? Pierre says, it will work out, but this place will be locked down soon. Oh, thanks, mate. They look great. Yeah, I feel pretty good. Lockdown soon, like Montreal will be locked down, or Quebec, or Canada, or what do you mean? Like, I know there's a lot of talk of shutting borders and things. People are afraid to travel right now because they might get stuck somewhere. And actually, another person, Bear, was saying that they just came back from the States today, yesterday, and that the border guards were behaving really differently. So I think it's good that that people are taking precautions. Just as long as it's precautions and not panic, you know. Like, I think the actual virus itself, whilst it is horrible and it's gonna be very dangerous for a certain demographic, I think the virus is not as dangerous as what everyone's doing in response to the virus, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not Ebola, and people are behaving like it is, in a way. Yeah, it feels a little bit manufactured, the hysteria, and it honestly feels a little convenient. Like, I can't help but think when stuff like this happens, like, what's not being reported? What are people not paying attention to that's kind of being smuggled in the background when everyone's like, look at this big scary thing. It's like, well, what about everything else? Because the world continues, you know? Yeah. Just, we all have to just keep calm, keep our heads, find a way forward, continue being good to each other. Or start, if you weren't already. Just breathe, take a breath. And I find, be careful with what you pay attention to, because our attention is our greatest resource. Like, people say health is your greatest resource, but actually attention is. If you can control what you pay attention to, or at least be mindful of it, it will give you so much more strength, because you're not kind of being bumped around by the waves of everything that's going on around you. So, just be careful with your channels. Be careful what you tune into. Like, don't hide from news. Don't hide from the world. But also, just like, if you have a medical phobia, maybe don't spend too much time reading about the effects of coronavirus. It is a hard balance to be educated and not be overwhelmed in today's world, because there's just so much information all the time. It's like the age of information, but no one teaches us how to have filters. So people inevitably get overwhelmed and shut down or get angry or don't know how to engage. There's just so much, you know, so much going on at any moment. I think we have about 5 minutes left for this, folks. Pierre says, my exact feelings, and you? Tell us more. I am not sure. Can you be more... Can you clarify what you mean by that? I also think I might have successfully drawn a spoon, folks. Or at least I'm getting there. I really do need to buy myself more pens. Not for lack of pens, but just for the fact that I only use 3 of them, as I was mentioning earlier. Hey, thanks folks who've just joined. Pierre, how are things with you, Sam? I'm doing great, thanks. Doing really great. just taking some time on this lovely Sunday morning to check in with all my folks on the internet, whom I'm hoping to do some live streams with in the future. Thanks, Pierre. Yeah, I haven't done these for a while. I've been, last year was very busy for me. I think the last time I was regularly doing the coffee and craft live streams was 2018. Excuse me. 2018. Yeah, I tried to get them started in the winter, North American winter a couple of months ago, but that was right before I decided that I was going to go to Australia, and then had to change everything and pack up everything in a very short time. And I'm so glad I did. Like, I just had this really strong instinct that I had to take care of it as fast as possible. And it turns out, like, basically if I'd have left it another week, I think I would have had trouble with all my plans, given what's been happening globally in the last week. So yeah, my timing was exactly right. It also worked out really well for, like, other opportunities. Getting to meet people who I otherwise would have missed. That kind of thing. Alrighty, I think I have a minute and a half remaining for this. So that is the spoon. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been nice to do this again. I'm hopefully going to do some more coffee and crafts live streams in the coming week or so. Oh yeah, and for you folks who missed, this was what I made yesterday. I'm pretty happy with that one, how that turned out. Yeah, thank you. Nice spoon. The original is here. It's a pendant belonging to my friend Mads Colvin, aka Sun and Swords. Yeah, so that's what I drew. Hi folks who've just tuned in. I'm afraid we're at the end of our coffee and craft show, but you can probably catch it. I'll share it to my Instagram story. And as always, be well, folks. Be kind to each other, and I will see you on the internet. Cheers.